Coach, you spent a lot of time in practice of the last couple of days talking about all the complications and intricacies of their offense. How do you think the guys are going to pick up on that?
Great. Yes, we did spend all. They have a. I really like their offense, and it presents a lot of problems. They basically play a 4-guard offense around a 5-man, 4 out, 1 in. But a lot of people do that. But they really have a lot of options, a lot of reads. They've got a lot of 3-point shooters, and they're not an easy team to defend. And you need to spend a lot of time in scouting and preparation, and then your guys have got to be able to. You don't want to overload them to where it's too confusing. I thought our guys were fantastic the first half. Just I couldn't hope for a better first half defensively. Maybe we came out a little flat with the lead the second half. And I thought we kind of got into trading baskets for a while, but then when we needed to, we stepped it back up. And I talked, last game, I thought last game was our best defensive effort of the year for sure, start to finish. And now I think this one was, because you're talking about some really, really talented players and defending a fairly complicated offense.
Talking to you yesterday, you talked about Karis LeVert and how he leads them in virtually everything. And you made a comment about how you hoped he would have an off night or something. 1 for 13 for 5 points. Specific to him, what was the key to defending a player like that?
Well, maybe I need to wish that a lot more on all the good players that we play. But definitely a team defensive effort. He's involved in a lot of screens, a lot of ball screens, a lot of shuffle screens, those kind of things. So our entire team was on task and really helping and talking. But Keith, I've got to give Keith a lot of credit. He begged for that assignment the day before the game, and little did he know he was going to get it anyway. So he didn't need to beg, but he was going to get it. And he came and studied a lot of film on LeVert, and I love it when the guys do that. They want to gain an edge, and so he really watched him on film for a good period of time and tried to really figure out his game. Keith is obviously a great athlete, as is LeVert, but he played him great, and as did the entire team. He wasn't the only one to guard him, but I got to give him a lot of credit. First half, he really made life tough for him.
Can you walk through some of the thought process, the reshuffling you had to do when you saw Marcus go down in the first minute?
Well, the first was panic. The first was just sheer panic when I saw him go down and then call for us. And when a guy calls for you, usually that is really not good news. And so when we went out there and he was saying, just feel, I've never felt anything like this. So we're so hopeful that it's, I guess, just a sprain. I don't know what it is yet. I found out maybe 1 minute later he's not coming back, and I figured he wasn't coming back. And I can tell you, you try to prepare for all the scenarios that might happen, with foul trouble and matchups and those kind of things. But it had never dawned on me that we might be 1 minute into the game and Marcus Kennedy's not going to play. So from that point on, your mind's racing and just kind of trying to figure out, okay, what's our rotation going to be versus them, because I'd done it all without that. And then what can we do offensively, because some of the game plan, honestly, was to really try to get the ball inside. And we also were going to see that when Marcus and Jordan played together, if they could guard their 4-man, and if they could, we felt like we could be pretty powerful inside. Well, obviously that was all out the window. And the amazing thing to me was there wasn't a guy that got in the game that to me didn't play outstanding. Every single guy. You're talking about 2 freshmen. You're talking about some people playing out of position. You're talking about guys that don't get many reps where they were shifted to. You're talking about guys that, when we prepared, were guarding some actions that maybe now they're not guarding that guy. So I've got to tell you, I respect our team right now so much, because they were put in a tough spot, and they made it look like it wasn't really a tough spot. They were great tonight.
Earlier this season, you've talked about how the NCAA has changed the foul calling rules and then how the team has adjusted. Tonight, you only drew 10 fouls as a team. How important was that, especially looking at Jordan on not picking up any without Marcus being in the lineup?
Absolutely critical. And I think what has happened, which is what I hoped happened, is we are getting much more disciplined in the way we play defense. You know, most fouls, really, if you think about them, I mean, if you look at your body parts, most fouls are hand fouls. You foul most of the time with your hands. You don't foul most of the time with your body. So there's a discipline in that. And, you know, you don't reach out and grab. You don't do this. You don't do that. You keep your hands here, and you keep your hands here, or you keep it right here. And we're getting better at that. I think a lot of the people in the country are getting better at that. Michigan doesn't foul much. If you look at their numbers, they're one of the least fouling teams in the country, statistically. So I think people are adjusting. And it was absolutely critical that we were in that mindset tonight because, you know, without Marcus, and if all of a sudden we're in foul trouble, if Jordan gets in foul trouble, or Ben gets in foul trouble, then, you know, now we've really got to make some adjustments. So, really clean game, well officiated, and that really helped us. But I can tell you what also helped us is, I don't know who played harder, our players or our crowd. I mean, they were fantastic tonight, and I think they were a big part of our defensive energy.
Jordan goes 11 for 12. How much of that was his activity and movement down low, and how much of it was simply the passing from the guards able to find him?
I think both. I think he was really alert and he found the areas, but at the same time, I think some guys really threw him some good passes. I don't know how he missed the one shot. I mean, how could he do that? You know, but he was fantastic. He is a rebounding machine. We're one away. I wish I'd have got him one away from having three guys with double-digit rebounds. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Probably have, but I sure do not remember. If I'm not mistaken, Jordan is in the top 5 or 6 in the country in offensive rebounding, and that's pretty valuable guy to have. But I was happy for him. Huge night, and when we really need, you talk about a guy stepping up to the challenge presented. He did that in his
Which impressed you more, 11 for 12, or the fact that you more than doubled Michigan on the boards without Marcus?
Well, always a team thing, really, I guess. 11 for 12 is pretty incredible, but we have been really rebounding the ball all year. It's been something that we've emphasized, but I can tell you there's other teams I've been around where you emphasize and they don't rebound worth the darn. So a big part of it is is just the tenacity, and rebounding in large part is just really how bad you want the ball. It really is, you know, and what you're made of, and it's a hustle play as much as anything else. Just because you jump high doesn't mean you're going to be a good rebounder. Just because you don't jump well doesn't mean you're not. So it tells you your guys are fighting, and now we're taking great pride. It's something that we chart. We chart a lot of things, and we present it to the team. We try to take some pride, and they are doing that, and it's really paying dividends. These are some numbers. Lately, we've been putting up rebounding numbers that I don't think I've ever been associated with a team that's rebounding with these kind of margins. But I might be wrong, but I hope it continues because it's one of the most valuable things. If you could just pick two things, if you're incredibly sound and solid and strong defensively and you're a great rebounding team, you're going to win a lot of games. You just are. And then if you happen to have talented offensive players, then maybe you can get away from an outstanding team like Michigan on a good night.
Tim, kind of a measuring stick kind of game for you. Let's talk about what this means to you, to the program, to be able to dominate a team in almost all phases of the game.
Well, you know, for me, you know, this is kind of a tough situation because I am here, sitting here right now because of some very tough circumstances for a lot of other people. And that doesn't always feel great. You know, I've never seen this before, to be honest with you. And so that's, you know, a little bit confusing at times because I am the head coach right here, right now, and it's, you know, it's obviously it's very enjoyable. These guys are fun to coach, but at the same time, it's at the expense of some things that have happened to us and happened to Coach Brown and happened to these players. And so I'm trying to make darn sure that, you know, this really has nothing to do with me. I don't want it to have anything to do with me. What I do, and I'm motivated every single day, and I have been since the day, you know, I took over whatever, is to try to have these guys do something really, really special so the country is talking about them and watching them and respects them, and that they get their due, because we're not gonna get our due in March, and they're not gonna be, you know, they're not gonna be all the shows and talked about in the brackets and March Madness, and we're not. And so the only way we can do that, it is highly, highly motivating me, and has from day one, is to have a night like this, you know? And I'm trying to get them to feel that, and I believe they really are, because they have been extremely fun to coach. I've been a head coach for a number of years, as you well know, and going to practice with these guys feels no different than any team I've ever been with that knew full well they had a good chance to go to postseason. And I give them, I have a lot of respect for them, and I care about them, and I want them to forget almost. I want them to have so much fun and do so well they forget that they're, you know, being, something has been done to them that really, you know, they were innocent victims, and it's very sad.